Thank you guys for tuning in to another special edition of the Sit Down with Malik Wright, presented by First Star Logistics. I promised this week I was going to sit down with a lot of Bengals fans, get their opinions, some of their hottest takes on the NFL draft. Coming up this week, I'm sitting with my man Tyler, who is the host or one of the hosts of Rule the Jungle podcast. You guys can catch them on all platforms where major podcasts are streaming. But Tyler, my man, how's it going?
Doing good, Malik. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother. NFL draft is taking place this weekend. This week, starting on Thursday. I'm pretty pumped up for it. We got a live draft stream taking place on Friday, covering rounds 2 and 3. So pretty jazzed up for that. Pretty pumped up. But I'm more excited to talk to you, man. Like I said, there's a lot of people floating around with draft takes. Obviously, this is the final week where we can have our hot takes before we find out what teams are actually doing. But there's only one team we really care about, right? And that's Cincinnati Bengals and what the Bengals are doing. But you in particular, man, you said you had a hot take as far as a tight end that you wanted the Bengals to draft that's not named Brock Bowers. So, my man, this is the part where I shut up and I hear from you. So I can't wait to hear what tight end you want the Bengals to take. Let's hear it.
All right. So obviously, talent-wise, Brock Bowers is the best tight end in this draft class. I'm not disputing that at all. I would go as far as to say Ben Sinnott would be number two, but that's not who I'm wanting to take either. This guy is a day two prospect, and if he lasts until the fourth round, that would be an absolute steal. And matter of fact, he plays in the same state as our Cincinnati Bengals. Talking about one Cade Stover out of Ohio State.
Wow.
Have caught a lot of flack from Bengals fans
Oh,
on this, with the exception of a few. Obviously, I am an Ohio State fan, so I might be a little biased, but I do see a lot out of Cade Stover, and he honestly reminds me of a younger Hayden Hurst from what we had a couple years ago. So
mm.
definitely, I could see him bringing a lot to this team.
Now, brother, I gotta ask you a question. Cade Stover,
Yes,
he's a name. He's a
yes,
guy that I watched and I looked at, and I wanted to know why people weren't talking about this guy more. My
yes.
producer is a resident Ohio State fan, and I gotta be honest with you. I talked with him at the combine. When I turn on his film, I don't see anything special.
So yeah, he's not the most explosive tight end, but he's from what I've watched over the last few years at Ohio State, he's definitely the guy that we need. He's a good locker room guy. He's got that he'll fight for each yard, kind of like what Hayden Hurst did. He's a bit on the older side. He's about 24 or so,
Mhm.
but he's definitely what we need in the tight end room. He could definitely come in right away. Obviously, being I would say he if we drafted him being the tight end too, obviously behind Gesicki. But definitely I could see him being the tight end of the Bengals future. You know, he's got that catch the ball catch where he could just like make an amazing catch. Like you wouldn't be able to notice that with a guy that short, with a guy that like that has that build. But Cade Stover, like I said, he reminds me of Hayden Hurst. He's you throw the ball to him, 9 times out of 10, he's going to come down with it, and he'll fight for the yardage too. He's not just someone who's going to just like go down immediately. He'll fight and he'll get you that first down.
So he's the tight end that you think the Bengals should go after of the future because if I understand this right, he's just your do it all kind of guy. He'll
Exact.
block,
Yes, exactly.
even though he might not be the greatest at it. He'll catch. He'll fight for extra yards. He's that gritty kind of guy, if you will, that you think that the Bengals can truly build on. And let me ask you this:
Mhm.
I'm the Bengals general manager. I'm Duke Tobin.
Okay.
You have to sell me on Cade Stover, right? You have to sell me on Cade Stover right here. What round you want us to draft Cade Stover in? Remember, think with the mentality that he might not be there the next round. So tell me, what pick would you feel comfortable spending on a Cade Stover and why?
So I would draft him in round three. Round three
Round
is
three.
definitely, I think round two would be a bit early. But definitely day two, round three, I would either go pick 80 or pick 97.
Okay.
Like I said, I've reached a lot of flack for that, but on the safe side, I would go pick 80 because he's a top 80 talent in this draft, in my opinion.
Mm.
Like I said, he's the third ranked tight end on my board. Obviously, I know you have a Wiley out there too, and obviously Eric Alm and all those other tight ends, but Cade Stover is tight end three for me. But speaking which, like I said, I would draft him over Ben Sinnott all day, every day,
Over Ben
twice on
Sinnott.
Sundays.
And
Yes,
over Jatavian Sanders?
yes,
Wow. Okay.
yes.
That's
Like
how,
I thought I might like I mean I know like I said I do have a bit of a Ohio State bias, but after watching what I've seen over the last few years with him, I do think is what he's what we need as our tight end of the future for Cincinnati.
brother.
Definitely.
You heard what I said on Twitter. I'm all about fresh perspectives and hearing different opinions. That's an opinion that I have not heard yet. And you know what? Kudos to you, Tyler, by just by sticking by that, man, and you know, making your voice heard. So, okay, we understand. You want the Bengals to draft Cade Stover, utility tight end, can do it all. Understood. You said spend pick 80, right? So that would be the
Yes.
Bengals' third round pick. So who do you
Yes.
want the Bengals to draft with their first two picks? Let me hear your opinion on that.
I'm on board with mostly everybody. Give me Jerzon Newton for pick 18. That's my
Okay. There's on
universal
Newton.
first pick. Not a lot would change my mind. The only thing that would change my mind on that is maybe if Joe Alt lasted somehow past pick 8, then maybe I would try to maybe make a trade up to see if we can get Joe Alt. If not, Jerzon Newton's the guy. He's been my guy since
Okay.
day one. Ever since the mock drafts started, I've been watching a little bit of film,
Mm-hmm.
studied some draft guides from people. And just from the overall eye test, I would pick Jerzon Newton number one.
Over Byron
On
Murphy if he's there?
yes,
Tell me why. Tell me why.
I just like I just like the ability and that Jerzon Newton has. I know he's fallen off the board from some analysts, fallen off the board. I know
Smoke screen, by the
maybe
way.
even going to round two from what I've seen on some people's boards. But no, Jerzon Newton, in my opinion, I do agree with some people that could say that Byron Murphy does have the overall edge talent wise, but Jerzon Newton I feel like would be the best possible pick at pick 18 for the
Okay.
Bengals.
And for pick two?
So pick two, that is, I believe, 49, correct?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Pick 49. Um, it depends on who's there. Obviously picking Jerzon Newton, we'd obviously have the defensive tackle there. If Kingsley Suamatia would be there, that's a
Mm.
possibility for me. If maybe like a Troy Franklin is there, that's another
Troy Frank. Okay.
possibility. That's two highly as well as there's a third one here. I'm not thinking of the name right off the bat here, but those are the top two, in my opinion, for pick 49. And if it came down to it, it depends on what the situation is with T. I'm not sure. I know we have until July 14th to make that decision with him, but I'm going to go with Kingsley Suamatia for the
Okay.
right tackle spot at pick 49.
All right.
Slightly over Troy Franklin, but definitely go with
Tackle over
Kingsley
Troy Franklin.
Suamatia.
Okay. Well, you definitely have different perspective, man. And that's what this whole thing was about. Me having this conversation with Bengals fans and getting their opinions. So Kingsley round two, Jerzon round one, and Cade Stover in round three.
Yes.
All right, all right. So I take it if the Bengals were to draft those three, you'd be a happy man.
Oh yeah. But like I said, I know I'm a Bengals fan, been a Bengals fan for 28 years now.
Mhm.
Obviously whoever they draft, it might be different than what I have. I'll still support the team regardless.
Of course.
Obviously I might get a little frustrated depending on what happens, but Bengals fan through and through. So I'll be a happy man regardless just because I love the Bengals all day, every day. So
Yes, sir, brother. Listen, man, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join me, man, and have this discussion with me, man. And I'm gonna check back with you after the draft too, because I want to hear what your opinion is after they draft who they draft, man. But listen, man, I appreciate you for taking the time. Tyler, we're gonna do this again, man.
all right, sounds good, Malik. Appreciate you having me on.
Of course, man. Keep killing it with Rule the Jungle, man.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, brother.
Take care, man.